Hi friends, how are you doing? I hope you're doing amazing. And today I wanted to touch on a little bit of a different topic. And as you can guess from the title, I want to talk about something that is of a concern for many people and also a reason why many people turn to a plant-based diet. And this is in hopes to lose weight. I think this is a very important topic, not only because people are trying to lose weight with the help of some diets, but also because this is kind of a mentality where we give our weight a little bit of more weight than to some other factors that affect our life. And I find this to be a little bit disturbing, to be honest, in some cases. So I just wanted to address this elephant in the room, share some research which I base my opinions on, and as well as that share my personal experience with weight fluctuations and weight management on a plant-based diet. I will link all the research that I'm citing that I've been using for this video in the description box down below. Do remember to not take any health and nutritional advice from social media. This is not a good habit. Use it as a reference point and maybe as a starting point when you're starting your own research. I hope that this will help you find some inspiration in the studies and help you advocate for your own health as well. I think we've all heard the expression that you cannot outrun a bad diet, and to me it comes from two places. One, we do tend to underestimate the amount of calories that we consume and overestimate the amount of energy that we spend on certain tasks. So it does indeed take a little bit more effort to burn some calories that we eat than we tend to imagine ourselves. And the second thing is, to me, a healthy weight is more of an indicator of your lifestyle and the manifestation of your diet, lifestyle, and other factors, how well you manage your stress, how well you sleep, and so on and so forth, rather than a pure matter of how you look like. And if you think of the food as something that you take in on a daily basis, this is one of the most intimate contacts with the environment that you can have. You are actually allowing something inside your body, inside your gut, which is super sensitive, which is then used to rebuild your body from ground up. Every single cell in your body, your brain, which is super important, and this is how you maintain your health, and these are the building blocks that you're providing to your body. So to me, nutrition is way less about your weight than it is about your habits, and way more about the relationships with the environment that you're surrounded with. That said, the science of nutrition and weight management is very booming right now. So you can be surrounded with a lot of hypotheses and a lot of things that seem to make sense, but they're not necessarily sustainable or well studied over the long term. So you can see a lot of those controversy going around the keto versus vegan diet. There are a lot of models that describe how carbs affect our bodies, how protein affects our bodies, but some of those theories are just that, they're theories, and they are often here for you to grab your attention and to sell you something that's not really supported by the studies. And one other thing is that some of those theories are supported and backed by studies, but it's like 1 out of 100 studies, and the overall direction of science is not moving to the direction that the authors are pushing it onto you. So this is a very important thing to consider when you're making decisions regarding your health, because there are way too many people that are trying to sell you a new diet. And personally, for me, it's really alarming when someone tells me that they are following the doctor who has some unique author methodology that is nowhere else in the research, and this makes me think, where did they get the data from? If no one else ever published a single study like this, how did they even start out? Why did they decide to do the thing that you do? Are you being a lab rat, quote unquote, for those guys to support their initiative and to sell more things? It seems that the energy balance is what makes sense overall, that you should be spending energy and you should be receiving energy in adequate amounts. However, it also appears that the source of the energy or the quality of the ingredients, the quality of those calories do make a great difference to your body composition. Am I even going to start talking about the topic? So speaking of the research that studies different diets and their effect on the weight management, many studies are done on overweight people. Another category of studies is done on athletes. As you can imagine, these are very different groups of people, so you can expect different results for and different topics of research, different topics of interest for both groups. For overweight people, you normally are interested in normalizing the BMI, the reducing the weight. There will be studies that are related to the studies of diabetes. While in athletes, you will see a group of studies, a group of research that's covering mostly oxidative stress, performance issues that can be related or mended with plant-based diet. In both cases, in both groups, research suggests that there may be benefits of a plant-based diet given several conditions. As you might know, there is generally a consensus that junk food is not good for you. This has a direct link to the topic we are discussing today. There is a lot of junk vegan food. If you're into the plant-based diet for your health rather than for animals or the environment, or for maybe for all these reasons, but health is one of your concerns, you will be more interested in trying out a whole food plant-based diet where you basically take the natural ingredients like beans, like legumes, and you cook them yourselves rather than buying something from the shelves where you can see the sodium, the sugar added, because those are also plant-based ingredients, or like the ingredients that are not animal-based, so you can technically find them, the Oreos, in your diet. That said, in my personal opinion, if adding some crushed Oreos would make you eat your oatmeal a little bit better and will help with overall adherence to the diet, and you should not go all or nothing, and you should make the process more enjoyable for yourself. And as I said, there are quite a lot of studies done on overweight patients, and there was one study which was particularly interesting. They were trying to see if the vegan diet is going to compare to the regular diet of people controlling for physical activity. I wonder if they also controlled for different kinds of medications, but this is a different topic. There were 75 people participating in this study, roughly split into halves. What they found out is that the vegan, high carbohydrate, low glycemic index diet and low fat diet at the same time was positively influencing BMI, weight, and what's important, the visceral fat. Let me read it out to you. Plant-based, high carbohydrate, low fat vegan diets have shown beneficial effects on body weight loss and weight management in overweight people. And in particular, they're highlighting that the consumption of insoluble fiber, the addition of 10 grams a day, is associated with a decrease in BMI of 0.41 kg per meter squared and a reduction in fat mass of 0.92 kg, which is quite interesting. So here we come to this point where we are faced with carbohydrates, which are always in our face in the mainstream social media, in the mainstream science, And I think everyone is just shouting about how carbohydrates are causing weight gain, while the reduction in carbohydrate consumption has been shown to improve some symptoms, some metabolic symptoms of different conditions. The root cause does not seem to be the carbohydrates, which brings us to the point that eating healthy carbohydrates, unprocessed or the whole form of carbohydrates that you can find in legumes and grains, can help you manage your weight. There was a study done on Australian runners. I will put a screenshot up here, which was saying that consumption of chickpeas, of pulses, was associated with better food choices throughout the day. It's as if participants were somehow choosing better food options throughout the day without any explicit restrictions of what they can and cannot eat. So just by adding some legumes, pulses into their diet, they were able to improve the dietary quality of their food. What seems to be really helpful in general is to consume less calorie dense and more calorie dilute products. For example, oils are really calorie dense. While eating fiber, you are consuming more calorie dilute foods. Moreover, fiber may have, and it's been shown to have in several studies, good effect on the gut microbiome, which can in turn have an effect on the body weight management. And this is yet to be studied further. It overall seems that the longer you stick to a good diet, which is rich in vegetables and plants, fiber, and phytonutrients, the more health benefits you are getting with each consecutive year. And one of those benefits is just one of those benefits, and the manifestation of a good lifestyle in general is healthy weight. So in the end, what's up with those carbs? It looks like it does really depend on the quality of the carbs that you're consuming. And if you're consuming a whole food plant-based diet, you indeed might get the benefit of the weight loss. And in some studies, indeed, it has been shown that eating a high calorie but low glycemic index plant-based diet and low-fat diet compared to the high-fat, low-carbohydrate diet may give a lower average consumption of calories on a 2-week period. And do remember that your dietary choices, they compound and accumulate over time. This is the whole point. It's not the one day on a week that you decide to eat a ton of ice cream that's going to screw your health for the rest of your life. It's those smaller dietary and lifestyle habits and changes that are going to compound and bring you to the ultimate health results and will allow you to enjoy your life a little bit longer. I just want to share my personal take on it. I think people are paying way too much attention to how their body looks versus what their labs are saying and the general direction where the science is going. This happens with ketogenic diet. I have seen a lot of people who have lost weight with the ketogenic diet, but to be fair, to be very honest, how many of us do get our labs done frequently enough to see how our health progresses over time with the diet that we stick to? Do remember that thin-looking people can also be unhealthy on the inside, and this is an important consideration. So if you're taking your diet seriously, do consult your doctor, or at least do your labs and do your research on the data side. What I found to be particularly interesting, and I'm not sure if it's related to the fat that you store and the quality of the fat that you store or the diet itself, is that whenever you gain weight, it's way easier to shed it if you just start eating regularly and properly nourishing your body. I think regarding the weight loss, there are different tips and techniques, and maybe for me, stopping the binge eating was a bigger part rather than switching to a whole food plant-based diet, because you can still overeat the good food eating whole food plant-based diet, and this is not great for your body either. So you still have to think about the energy and the caloric intake that you're consuming, although I hate this idea. What helped me personally was more balancing my meals throughout the day and not overeating before I go to bed, as well as decreasing the episodes of binge eating throughout the day. This is what helped me big time. Also, please keep in mind that there are a lot of junk food that is vegan. Oreos are vegan, and I'm not mad at them for it, but do keep in mind that you can have a completely junky vegan diet and you will be wondering why you are not losing weight. Added sugar is also vegan, but you probably don't need it for your body to function properly, and it's probably going to have detrimental health effects. I would really encourage you to think about it in a long-term perspective, in a more holistic manner, and do keep in mind that building good habits takes a couple of weeks, and cooking good food for yourself is the same kind of a habit as it is to consume junk food. So there is nothing very special about it. It might take a little bit effort in the very beginning, but it's so worth it. For me personally, one other tool that was really helpful in weight management is having a food diary. And you might think that this is something where I track my calories, where in fact I don't. When I feel like I'm overfeeding myself, I'm writing down the emotion and why I'm craving a certain food. Why do I want to eat it right now? Is it because I'm anxious? Is it because I feel frustrated? Am I trying to force feed myself to cope with those emotions? If you like, we can talk about it in some other video. Those are great tools to support you from the psychological side when you're trying to manage your weight with any kind of a diet. Overall, I have found that switching to a plant-based lifestyle and plant-based diet did help me greatly in other aspects of health. So to sum this all up, I would really encourage you to look at your weight from the perspective of the overall health and well-being. There is always going to be some individual variation, and you might react to one diet better than to the other diet. Overall, the science does support a lot of claims of the plant-based diet, although you might want to take the transition easy, especially if you have some underlying health conditions or if you're taking some medication, especially for high blood pressure, for diabetes, especially if you're taking blood thinners. These can be some of the things that you want to consider transitioning to a plant-based diet for its health benefits. Do remember that any kind of diet or any kind of pattern has more value if it's sustainable long term. So this is why for me, it has provided me with so many tools to manage my health conditions, to manage my health and weight in general, so I can go through every day feeling better than the previous day. And I think this is a great advantage of such a lifestyle approach. At the same time, do not force yourself to make the switch to a whole food plant-based diet all of a sudden. It might seem like a burden, so maybe start slower, allow yourself some junk food every now and then. It's not the end of the world. It's the accumulation of the good and the bad things that you do to yourself over a long period of time, rather than one episode of eating a pack of Oreo cookies before bed. Don't be too harsh on yourself. And I hope you enjoyed this kind of format of the video. I hope it was helpful, at least for someone. Please, if you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. You can reach out to me on Instagram as well. I'll be more than happy to connect. And I'll link all the research down below as well. So if you want, you can go and check it out. And I wish you all great health and to achieve your weight and body image goals. And I see you later.